here on the campus of Youngstown State University. It is Horizon League Women's College Basketball. Today, the Penguins from Youngstown State entertain the Golden Grizzlies from Oakland. Hi again, everybody. Chad Krispinski with you. Zach Humphreys will join us in just a moment. Youngstown State checks into this one with a record of 15-7 overall, 4-5 in Horizon League play. Oakland, meanwhile, is 2 games under the 500 mark, 10-12, 4-5 in Horizon League play. The starting lineups look this way for Youngstown State. They will send out a backcourt of India Benjamin and Nikki Arbanis. They are 2 of the most prolific freshman backcourts that Youngstown State has seen in some time. Kelsey Newman getting another start along with Heidi Schlegel and Tish Walker rounding things out. For the Golden Grizzlies from Oakland, they're coming into this one playing some pretty good basketball despite the fact that they were last in action at Milwaukee in a 6-point loss. As we bring in Zach Humphreys, this is a team that sent Green Bay to a 3-point loss. It was the first conference loss of the season for the Phoenix.
I'll tell you what, Chad, they came off 2 losses, Wright State and Cleveland State, both at home going into that Green Bay game too. So you were kind of thinking it's going to be tough, but like you said, they came away with a victory against Green Bay and then drop one to Milwaukee. Now, this is a hard team to kind of figure out. They're one of 4 teams that are 4-5 in the standings, as are the Penguins.
The Golden Grizzlies headlined by several players, one of which is preseason All-Horizon League second team, Elena Popke. There is a momentary delay for one reason or another, and I'm not sure what the reason is. I don't think the official liked the basketball that was initially chosen, and so John Barnes grabs another one, hands it off to the official, and an extra stretch, and momentarily we will have the opening tip. 3 of the Penguins' 5 Horizon League losses have come by just 1 possession. That includes Saturday's 3-point overtime loss to the UIC Flames. YSU also lost by 3 points at Oakland back on January 24th. Tish Walker is set to jump it up. Jumping it up against Sinclair Russell, and the opening tip is controlled to the Penguins. And we're underway here at Beagley Center. Heidi Schlegel has it over to Arbanis out of Hermitage Hickory High School. Heidi Schlegel goes off the dribble, fights it up off the bottom of the backboard, no good. The rebound comes down to Oakland. Immediately, the Penguins trying to get Heidi Schlegel involved.
Yeah, definitely, Chad. And, she struggled a little bit in second halves in some of those games where the Penguins have dropped, including at Oakland, which, really started this tough stretch for YSU. They've lost 4 of 5, and it all started back in Rochester against this squad.
Olivia Nash is short, and the rebound comes down to Nikki Arbanis of the Penguins. Arbanis has had some start to her Penguin career. Ball is into the hands of Kelsey Newman just about a minute into this first half. Benjamin over on the right side. Back up to the top of the key. Schlegel, Arbanis, and Newman. Low post, Tish Walker. Left low block, off the glass and in.
And I think Tish Walker really has to be that complementary piece to Heidi Schlegel. When the Penguins had a ton of success in the non-conference portion of the schedule, it was that 1-2 punch down low.
And I'll tell you what, Walker had 3, 4, maybe 5 open looks in that overtime loss on Saturday, and she just wasn't able to finish at the basket. And so the Penguins will need her to do so. Elena Popke, don't want to get her going from the outside as she nailed the 3 to give the Golden Grizzlies a 1-point lead.
And talking about Popke, she really makes them go, Chad. Obviously a point guard usually does that, but even more so with Elena Popke on both ends.
She hit some big shots down the stretch in the first meeting between these two. Schlegel is called for the travel, and the Penguins turn it over for the first time in this one.
The other takeaway in that first meeting, Chad, 85-82 was the final. Oakland won by 3. That was a really up and down type of game. I think the Penguins want to slow down the pace a little bit here in the second meeting.
High pass gobbled up by Russell. Russell hands it back to Peyton Apsey. Work it near the elbow. Shot clock down to 11. Ball lobbed underneath, ends up in the hands now to Russell underneath. Shot blocked by Walker.
And Walker tied for the Horizon League lead in blocks per game.
Urbanis has it on the right wing. Schlegel, top of the key. Here's Newman. Newman lobs it for Walker. Up off the rim. Offensive rebound to Walker. Walker surveying the scene. Out to Urbanis, who hands it off to Benjamin, who looks back at John Barnes. Over to Urbanis outside the three-point line. Here's Walker facing up. Walker nearly walked. Puts it up, no good. Rebound, second try, up over everything. And another rebound to Sinclair Russell. Here comes Nola Anderson, scooping it up and in.
Yeah, Nola Anderson started midway through the season last year for Peyton Apsey. Now they're both in the starting lineup. Anderson's great at attacking the basket.
The Golden Grizzlies lead is 3. Walker strong underneath. And the deficit cut to 1.
She's getting anywhere she wants. She just got to finish. That time she did.
5 for Oakland. Here's Popke. Popke out of Warren, Michigan. Nearly a walk by Olivia Nash. Back outside to Apsey, who's out of Hemlock, Michigan. Apsey, left side, line drive, triple for Russell.
That sure was. I didn't see that in the first meeting. Russell did a lot of work inside, but got that 3 to go, like you said, line drive style.
Oakland 8, Youngstown State 4. Here's Urbanis, over to Benjamin. Bounce pass underneath, pass is picked off by Nash. Quickly up the floor to Elena Popke, who triggers and misses. The rebound down to Kelsey Newman. Quickly ahead to Urbanis. Urbanis up at the top of the key. This is Walker over to Newman. Under 16 to play. Ball lobbed into the hands of the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, who push it up the floor. Apsey cut off just inside the three-point line. And we have a whistle and a foul underneath called against Youngstown State. First on Youngstown State, the first on Walker, and with 15:39 to play here in the first half, we take timeout. Oakland 8, Youngstown State 4. Back to Beagley Center after this on my YTV.
I like Dr. Altman's because she actually has a relationship with you, like on a personal level. It doesn't matter what kind of repertoire you bring into Dr. Altman's. She'll always take whatever you've brought in and transform it. I think that's really encouraging because once you walked out of that lesson, you already have this urge to want to practice. You want to sit in there and be the best that you can be and come back next week as something even greater.
As a member of the Youngstown State University Penguin Club, you are part of the team behind the teams. You provide support that allows our student athletes to not just compete, but to carry on a legacy of success. We need you. Be a member. Be a Penguin. Join the YSU Penguin Club today.
Can you really succeed in business while staying true to your values? You can, and it's proven every day by graduates of University of Detroit Mercy's College of Business Administration. As a Catholic institution, UDM puts ethics and social responsibility at the core of a business education that's in the world's top 5%. Come to a UDM Visit Day. Find out more today at business.udmercy.edu.
Youngstown State already with 3 turnovers here in the first half. And defense leading to some offense for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, who have a 4-point lead with 15:39 to play here until halftime. It'll be Oakland basketball off the previous Penguin foul, which was the first on Tish Walker. Elena Popke stands just 5'6", but she's deadly shooting the basketball. Speaking of turnovers, Oakland just did it. Here's Benjamin up the floor on the right wing. India Benjamin, the freshman from Lima, Ohio. Bouncing it to Schlegel. Schlegel over to Urbanis, who takes it baseline and fights it up too strong. And the rebound comes down to Nola Anderson of Oakland.
Look how quickly they want to get back at the other end, Chad. Oakland really wants to push and get a quick shot in transition.
Peyton Apsey back to Russell, who's strong. Offensive rebound underneath. by Zakia Menifee, who's checked into the ball game. Here's Popke firing off the rim, no good. And the rebound down to the Penguins, who trail it by 4. Back to Arbanis in rhythm for 3. Off the rim, no good. Sinclair Russell with the rebound. Ahead to Nola Anderson. Lane up, no good. She'll go to the line for 2.
Right off that miss, right down the other end goes Nola Anderson, and she's great in the open floor. Going to the basket.
So to the free throw line will step Nola Anderson. She had a career high 23 points with 5 3-pointers against Milwaukee. She puts the free throw up and off the rim. That was back on the 10th of January. Jenna Hirsch will step into the Penguin lineup, replacing Kelsey Newman. Anderson is averaging just over 11 points. She's a 63% free throw shooter, and the free throw's up and good.
Chad, you could see in the picture right there, Tish Walker behind Arbanis, who just threw it in, rolling out a cramp perhaps. So we'll have to monitor that.
So Sarah Cash is in out of Lordstown. She has the ball up to Hirsch. Here is Arbanis. Arbanis lobs it underneath Schlegel. Schlegel back to Hirsch with 12 to shoot.
That was a good double team there by Oakland on Schlegel a moment ago.
Cash, topside Benjamin, outside Hirsch for 3. Shot was partially blocked, and the ball is out of bounds as the horn sounds, and it's a shot clock violation. And they'll say it's off Youngstown State.
Here's the thing that teams are starting to do against Youngstown State. They know they want to get it inside, so they're double teaming inside, and they're going to force you to hit that shot. You know, and those are shots they couldn't hit against Detroit. They did the same thing. They packed it in inside and said, okay, if you're going to beat us, you're going to shoot it from the 3-point line.
It was a tale of 2 halves in that loss to Detroit you're talking about, and the loss to UIC the other day when the pressure was ratcheted up by the Flames in the second half. There is a reach-in foul called against Oakland. It'll be number 1 tagged to Sinclair Russell.
And Chad, that's a positive for YSU because that says, you know, they can't guard Heidi Schlegel with 1 defender, or Tish Walker for that matter. So now you just got to start hitting some outside shots, then it'll open it back up inside.
Here's Arbanis on the left wing. Outside to Benjamin, lob for Cash. Ball is knocked away by Menifee, and it's ahead to Elena Popke. Popke lobs it back up to the top of the key under the right wing. 3 ball up. It's short from Anderson. Penguins come down with it. Still looking to cut into a 5-point deficit. Good defense again. Ball is knocked out of the hands of Benjamin. Anderson has it. They work it over to Popke, who triggers. May have walked. No call. And the rebound comes down to Youngstown State. Across the time stripe into the forecourt. Benjamin around to the right side. Benjamin off the glass, no good. Cash cleans it up. Cash fights it up over the rim, no good. From point blank range, the Penguins unable to put the shot in. Apsey off the dribble line, lane up off the rim. Cash with a rebound for the Penguins.
Good strong rebound there by Sarah Cash, and that was a good take by Apsey. She's really improved from a season ago. Couldn't finish it there.
This is Hirsch to Arbanis, top of the key. Schlegel raising up for 3. She knocked it down.
There you go. 3-point shots there. Now you just got to make them.
9-7 is our score as we close in on the 12-minute mark of this first half at Beagley Center. A pair of 4 and 5 teams in Horizon League play doing battle. Apsey from up top is short. Schlegel with the rebound, and she had an Oakland Golden Grizzly draped all over her. I believe it was Menifee. It was. It'll be the first on her and the second on Oakland as a team, and with that we take timeout. 11 minutes 51 seconds to play here in the first half. It's Oakland with a 2-point lead. Timeout. We'll be back after this on Doubleheader action at Bigley Center. Youngstown State trailing Oakland by a score of 9-7 as we welcome you back. 11:51 left. Chad Krasminski with you alongside Zach Humphreys here at Bigley Center. Jenna Hirsch will bring it up the floor and work it over to Morgan Olson. Back to Schlegel. Here's Ashley Lawson, who's checked in. Schlegel looking low post for Olson. Instead, back up top to Arbanis, and now Hirsch. Back to Arbanis, who travels off the dribble. Here's Lawson with the shot clock down to 7. Lawson underneath Morgan Olson. Great strength. Olson puts it up. Too much strength. And underneath, there's a whistle and a foul called against Oakland.
So really a different lineup right here. One that we haven't seen too much of, with Ashley Lawson, Morgan Olson in there.
First foul on Amy Carlton, a senior out of White Lake, Michigan. Third Oakland team foul, by the way.
Carlton's a great three-point shooter. She's really got to be accounted for when she comes in. That's what she's on the floor to do.
2-point ball game. Here's Newman underneath over everybody's head, looking for Olson, and it's out of bounds. And the Penguins turn it over once again. And for YSU, that's the 6th.
Yeah, that's a problem too, because it plays right into Oakland's hands. You know, those turnovers turn into fast break and eventually transition baskets.
Cross-court toss, 3 ball from the right wing off the fingertips of Carlton, as you said. That time she missed. The rebound up the floor. This is Hirsch. Top side Schlegel. Over to Lawson, who goes off the dribble. Spinning, great looking move by Lawson, but she couldn't knock the shot down. And the Penguins are ice cold from the floor here now. 3 for 14 here in this first nearly 10 minutes of the game.
Well, the good thing defensively, they're doing a pretty good job on this end, and they're right there. I mean, Oakland's a team that's scoring over 70 points per game. That's second in the Horizon League.
Menifee puts it up, and there's a blocking foul called against Heidi Schlegel. That'll be number 3 on the Penguins. We'll get a look at it here. And it looked as if it was a good call.
I'll tell you what, Zakia Menifee really played well in the first go-around, too, off the bench. And she's done a good job for Oakland. Good energy, rebounds well for her size at 5'9".
She's a redshirt senior from East Lansing, Michigan, is Menifee, and she has her first point of the ball game.
Just a perfect role player coming off the bench.
This is an Oakland team that was picked in the preseason poll to finish in 6th place. And actually, that's exactly where the Golden Grizzlies are, albeit a very tight middle of the pack.
I'll tell you what, Jen, I mean, I know they're, down there in the standings right now, but you look at their starting 5, they're really talented. I mean, they can go and beat anybody. Like we saw early on, they beat Green Bay a couple games ago.
Look at the effort from Schlegel. Working hard underneath, and she laid it up and in. And it's 11-9, Oakland by 2.
Just a vintage Heidi Schlegel basket there.
Padding her stats with great effort. Onto the wing, it's Apsey. This is Nash, triggering, missing, off the rim, out of bounds. And it'll go back to the Penguins with 9:38 left to play in this first half.
Now Tish Walker comes back for the Penguins. She got them off to a good start. 4 quick points and 2 rebounds. See if they go back inside to Walker, perhaps.
She was getting worked on by the medical staff a few short moments ago, but looks to be A-OK now. This is Benjamin off the dribble, back outside to Arbanis. Arbanis with 15 to shoot, back to Benjamin. Benjamin looking low post. Instead, a bounce pass up to Schlegel. Now Arbanis off the dribble, back to Benjamin. Benjamin with 5 to shoot, lob for Walker, but on the entry pass, Benjamin walked with the ball, and the Penguins have turned it over now 7 times in the first half.
And that's really hurt the Penguins. Just haven't not been able to get good offensive sets run.
There you see Jeff Tungate in his 2nd season, heading up the Oakland women's program, and we have a reach-in foul. Tungate's an interesting story. Of course, he coached for a long time under Greg Campy on the men's side, then took over as head coach.
And it's interesting, Chad, because he brought a offense you see in men's basketball to the women's side.
Yep.
That dribble handoff out high. That's something you see a lot in men's basketball, but he's got this women's team running it well.
Speaking of good offense, Sinclair Russell laid that one up and in, and it is 13-9 in favor of Oakland. 8:38, clock rolling. Kelsey Newman lobbing underneath, pass picked off by Nash. Nash ahead to Popke. Popke to Russell. Russell loses the handle. It was knocked free from her grasp. And here come the Penguins back in the opposite direction. Arbanis up to Schlegel. Here's Hirsch. Back to Newman. Firing for three. Off the glass and in.
Well, not by design, but she'll take it.
It all counts the same, and it's 13-12. Oakland with a 1-point lead. Lightning fast speed for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, and sharp shooting from the outside. Amy Carlton knocked it in. Her first three, and the lead is back up to 4 for the Golden Grizzlies.
And Carlton is one that put this game away the first time these two teams met at the free throw line. Good three-point shooter.
Kelsey Newman, typically a three-point shooter, drove to the basket, missed the layup. Golden Grizzly basketball. Olivia Nash is short. Rebound to Tish Walker of Youngstown State. Kelsey Newman running the floor and laying it up and in.
Job there by Kelsey Newman, like you said, hustling back down, making herself available for that pass.
5 points for Kelsey Newman. The Oakland lead is 2. Here is Nash raising up, missing. Another textbook block out for Nikki Arbanis, one of the shorter players on the floor. 3-ball attempt, no good, way off the mark by Newman. Here come the Golden Grizzlies. Nola Anderson has it on the right side, and the 3-ball picture perfect for Amy Carlton.
Yeah, same spot too on that right side. That's what she's there for, Chad. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing she does out on the floor.
19-14, lob for Walker, who gathers. Over to Newman. Here's Schlegel off the dribble, and there's a reach-in foul going to be called on Sinclair Russell. That'll be the second on Russell and the fourth on the Golden Grizzlies as a team. And with 6:25 left to play in the first half, we take timeout. Oakland 19, Youngstown State 14. We'll bring you back to Bigley Center after this in Horizon League action on my YTV. Good crowd here at Bigley Center here. Taking in doubleheader action. Youngstown State women facing off with the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. And out of the timeout, Youngstown State will have it. Nikki Urbanis set to trigger it in. Urbanis looking, and lobbing. It's Kelly Wright into the Penguin lineup. Wright over to Cash, bounce pass for Schlegel. Schlegel in traffic. Schlegel back over to Hirsch. Here's Urbanis off the dribble, stepping back, 3-ball up and good for Urbanis.
Well, the defense had to scramble because once again they double team Heidi Schlegel. You ball swing it to the other side of the floor. Here's Nikki Urbanis with a good look.
At the other end, great look, left low block. There is a whistle and an offensive foul called against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies on the entry pass. There was a little bit of a delay as the officials looked at one another, but then they nodded in agreement. It's an offensive foul, and it's number 1 on Nola Anderson, the 5th on the Golden Grizzlies as a team, and the Penguins can tie with a 2, take the lead with a 3. Here's Urbanis giving it to Cash. Cash to Schlegel. Schlegel fights it up and in.
That was a great pass because Cash led Schlegel to the basket as she was sealing her defender.
Better positioning underneath, leading to better results for Schlegel and company. There's Carlton spinning left of the lane, and she fights it up, and it's another offensive foul called against Oakland, and Jeff Tungate is not happy with the call.
I'm not sure if they called a hook there, perhaps, or let's see. Yep. No, that wasn't much, but that's what they called. They called a hook on Wright. Carlton on Wright.
It is her first. Carlton, that is. Cash out to Urbanis, firing 3-ball. Got it!
Wow, Nola Anderson was right there, too. And Jeff Tungate is really upset.
5:08 left and a timeout has been called. Nikki Urbanis, the freshman guard from Hermitage, Pennsylvania, came in needing 3 3-pointers to set YSU's record for triples by a freshman, and Urbanis has 2 thus far. She's second in the Horizon League in 3-point field goal percentage and has made at least 1 triple in now 19 games. Coming in, she had made at least 3 7 times, and something tells me, Zach, she's going to hit at least another here before this one's all said and done.
Yeah, Chad, coming in, she was a 43.8% shooter from outside. With those last couple, she's probably in first place now in the Horizon League.
22-19, Youngstown State leading Oakland. Just about 5 minutes left. Popke firing, missing. With the rebound down to Kelly Wright, who's seeing some extended playing time now. It'll be Hirsch bringing it across over to Urbanis. Urbanis with 17 to shoot, goes off the dribble, cut off left of the lane. Outside Cash, who swings it over to Hirsch. Cross court, Urbanis back off the dribble, raising up and knocking it down.
That was great passing from side to side, and eventually Urbanis able to beat her defender off the dribble because she hit those threes a moment ago.
There's more defense in the interior. Jenna Hirsch coming up with the interception. Penguins trying to increase this 24-19 lead. Hirsch, bounce pass over to Wright. Wright facing up, defended by Nola Anderson. They give it to Cash. Cash back to Wright. 12 to shoot outside Urbanis. Now Hirsch. Schlegel firing. 3-ball. Off the mark, out of bounds.
Well, I thought the Penguins really should have made an effort to get it inside to Schlegel because she had Menifee on her that time at 5'9". Schlegel wanted it a couple of times. Her teammates weren't able to find her.
So we're now underneath 4 minutes to play until halftime. Off the dribble comes Anderson. Out to Apsey. He's backing in on Wright. Outside the 3-point line, Corinne Taylor, a freshman from Akron, Ohio, up the road into the lineup. Here's Menifee. 5 to shoot. Back into the corner. Taylor for 3, no good. Sarah Cash with the Penguin rebound. YSU pushing it up the floor. Kelly Wright to the top of the key. Here's Schlegel to Urbanis. Urbanis lobs it for Cash, left of the lane. Cash, jump hook, up and in!
Good strike that time on Olivia Nash. That was great footwork once again by Sarah Cash inside.
All of a sudden, the Penguins shooting the ball with much better authority, much more confidence.
And Chad, to this point, Olivia Nash, Oakland's best player, is scoreless. She's 0 of 4 from the floor, so credit the Penguins defense there as well, as they're holding Nash at bay here in the first half.
Youngstown State foul is called to Nikki Arbanis. It's number 1 on Arbanis and number 4 on the Penguins as a team. 2 minutes, 57 seconds left to play in this first half. Youngstown State has exploded, now leading at 26-19 on my YTV.
If you hold a Kentucky hunting or fishing license, then you have helped make possible Kentucky's wildlife management areas, places to hunt, fish, birdwatch, or just let your mind wander. With nearly 100 dotting the Commonwealth, put wildlife management areas in your sights for fall hunting and see more of what makes Kentucky's outdoors outstanding. Get all the information online at fw.ky.gov.
As a member of the Youngstown State University Penguin Club, you are part of the team behind the teams. You provide support that allows our student athletes to not just compete, but to carry on a legacy of success. We need you. Be a member. Be a Penguin. Join the YSU Penguin Club today.
26-19, Youngstown State leading Oakland as we welcome you back. Chad Krespinski, Zach Humphreys with you. Golden Grizzlies with a basketball. Apsey has it outside left wing. 3-ball no good by Menifee. And we have a whistle and a Youngstown State foul. John Barnes says, can I have an explanation, please?
Yeah, I'm waiting for one too, Chad. I thought Sarah Cash had pretty good position on the box out. Not sure what happened there.
So the Golden Grizzlies have the basketball. Elena Popke out front. It's 26-19. Youngstown State, I didn't pick up who the foul was even on. Menifee misses badly on the reverse. She tried to scoop that one up and it almost went into the front row.
Another rebound there for Sarah Cash. She's really picked up her game here in the last couple of minutes.
Hirsch giving to Schlegel. Ball out of bounds off Oakland. Here comes Tish Walker replacing the aforementioned Cash. "18 seconds of the shot clock. Lob into Walker. Walker fights it up. No. Offensive rebound to Walker. Second try won't go. Ball loose on the floor. Tracked down by Anderson. Anderson up the floor. Feeding it back outside right into the hands of the Penguins. Tish Walker falls on it. Manages it to Kelly Wright. And the Penguins avert disaster.
That right there is why they tell you at a young age, never leave your feet.
This is Kelly Wright on the left wing, off the dribble, out to Schlegel, Arbanis, over to Hirsch, back to Schlegel. Here's Kelly Wright with 8 to shoot. Hirsch will not try and set something up quickly. Hirsch, line, lane, scoops it up and in.
That was a great take and a confidence one at that. Right to the basket with the shot clock winding down.
Jenna Hirsch has really thrived since heading to the bench, providing a big-time spark for John Barnes' team. A great spark and a great leader in certain scenarios as Menifee has it over onto the right wing to Apsey. Ball out of bounds, and with 1:16 left in the first half, it'll come back to the Penguins.
Chad, I wish I had a tally on this, but Oakland's been stuck on 19 points for a long time.
Yep.
Penguins defense has done a great job.
Cross the time stripe into the forecourt. Here's Hirsch. Working it over to Kelly Wright. Bounce pass to Tish Walker. As we're down inside the final minute of this first half, Schlegel up no good. It's been nearly 5 minutes since the last Oakland field goal. 28-19, Youngstown State.
Yeah, the score was tied 19-19 with 5:40 left to play. So big time run here to close out the half for the Penguins.
Hirsch out of traffic with 14 to shoot. Good defense by Taylor, disrupting things. Here's Arbanis in traffic, feeding it to Walker. Walker back outside right, 4 to shoot. Hirsch for 3, up it's short. Kelly Wright with the offensive rebound, feeding it for Schlegel, and the pass is intercepted. It's ahead to Elena Popke. Back outside to Taylor for 3. She knocked it in from the left wing with the clock winding down. And the Penguins are not going to get a shot off here at the end of the first half. So we have played one half of basketball here at Bigley Center. John Barnes Penguins heading to the locker room with a halftime score of 28-22.
The actor I want to play me would be probably Ashton Kutcher. My first game, when we were down in Alabama, we were at a restaurant, and the waitress said I look like Ashton Kutcher. So kind of been going along with that the whole time. Plus, you know, he's funny and has good movies. So
maybe Christian Bale. I just like him as an actor, and he's around my age.
I would probably choose Chris Tucker to play my part.
Well, like I said, we'll probably have, Juwan's favorite movie. He got game, Denzel Washington.
I'm a big fan of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so I have to say Will Smith.
Vince Vaughn. I've always been a huge fan of Vince Vaughn movies, and he's a tall guy with dark hair, kind of just like me, and he's really passionate about like the roles that he plays, and he's a really funny guy to me.
Mike Epps. Because his personality is, I can take on a lot of things, the same personality as him, real goofy, but at the same time, I get the job done.
Well, it's a tough one. You know, years ago I'd have picked Leonardo DiCaprio, but but nowadays I think I might have to go with Ben Affleck.
Denzel. Denzel. You never go wrong with Denzel Washington in the movie.
I would have to say Will Smith, just because he's my favorite actor.
Well, it's easy because Tom Hanks said that Wright State University has one of the best theater departments in all of the country. And he's one of the greatest actors ever. So clearly I would want him to play me. No question, Tom Hanks.
Mike Epps, because he's funny. He's one of the funniest comedians, and he stars in one of my favorite movies, Friday After Next.
Bradley Cooper, for sure. And with the long locks, too.
Kevin Hart. Because, I mean, I wish I was like a comedian. I mean, I like to be funny. I like to tell jokes. I like to laugh. So, Kevin Hart.
Chris Tucker or Chris Rock. So I like making people smile, and those are two guys who make people laugh a lot.
You gotta get Denzel, man. It's just, no, Mark, he's too old for you now. Okay, you can't get Denzel now. I'm Denzel. Okay, so you gotta find a cool young guy to play you right now.
I'm gonna have to say Nick Cannon. Yep, he's a good guy. Good guy, kind of tall, not too short. I was gonna say Kevin Hart, but he's too short. So I like Nick Cannon.
I was gonna say Denzel because I like his swag, but I think Will Smith, he's got a swag to him too. Plus he's a little more current, a little more hip than Denzel. So I'm gonna go Will Smith.
I say Kevin Hart just because he's the hottest out right now, the hottest comedian out. Or as a second, Denzel. Coach said he was old, but Denzel's still my favorite actor. So.
She just was. She just wasn't able to finish at the basket, so the Penguins will need her to do so. Elena Pop and another rebound to Sinclair Russell. Here comes Nola Anderson, scooping it up and in.
Anderson's great at attacking the basket.
The Golden Grizzlies lead is 3. Walker Strong underneath, who's out of Hemlock, Michigan. Apsey, left side, line drive, triple for. This is Hirsch to Arbanis, top of the key. Schlegel raising up for 3. She knocked it down.
Really talented. I mean, they can go and beat anybody like we saw early on. They beat Green Bay a couple games ago.
Look at the effort from Schlegel.
Basketball to the women's side.
Yep.
That dribble handoff out high. That's something you see a lot in men's basketball, but he's got this women's team running it
to
well.
Schlegel. Here's Hirsch. Back to Newman. Firing for 3. Off the glass and in. 3. Here's Arbanis. Giving it to Cash. Cash to Schlegel. Schlegel fights it up and in.
That was a great
pass. He
pass.
Swings it over to Hirsch. Cross court, Arbanis back off the dribble. Raising up and knocking it down. Arbanis lobs it for Cash. Left of the lane. Cash jump hook up and in.
Good strength
Right with 8 to shoot. Hirsch will not try and set something up quickly. Hirsch line lane. Scoops it up and in. It's ahead to Elena Popke. Back outside to Taylor for 3. She knocked it in. As you look at the scoreboard, high atop Bigley Center, Youngstown State currently opens things up in the second half with a 6-point lead, 28-22. Chad Krispinski, Zach Humphreys with you. Penguins trying to snap a 2-game slide. Elena Popke trying to disrupt that. She kisses it off the window to cut it to a 4-point Penguin lead. And Popke now with 5 points.
Yeah, she was very quiet in that first half, Chad. She was only 1 of 5 from the floor, that one being a 3-point basket. So good for Popke going to the basket. I know head coach Jeff Tungate likes when she does go inside.
Shot blocked twice, but on the second shot attempt by Schlegel, Sinclair Russell was called for the personal foul.
Just got good job by Heidi Schlegel, just staying with it, as she always does, inside.
Heidi Schlegel stepping to the stripe. It's the Penguins' first free throw. Schlegel puts the first one in. Schlegel coming in 3 free throws from setting the program record for most made free throws in a career. She split the pair there. It's 29-24. Penguins by 5. Popke has it to Nola Anderson. There's Sinclair Russell. Over to Anderson. Anderson backing in, feeding it to Apsey. Good feed, left side underneath for Olivia Nash, who put it up and in.
And all started with good pass by Nola Anderson, hitting Apsey on a back door. That opened up things for Olivia Nash inside.
Here's Kelsey Newman on the right side. Outside the 3-point line. Up top to Walker. Here's Arbanis. Arbanis have it over to Benjamin. Here's Kelsey Newman with 5 to shoot. She takes it baseline. Scoops it up and in.
And that's really where she's improved. I think I've mentioned that a few times, but a season ago, Chad, she doesn't make that move.
The other end, Golden Grizzlies trying to answer. Nola Anderson up and it rattles in.
Yeah, that's really her strength. Inside the paint, she's really strong and athletic inside.
31-28, Youngstown State leading Oakland. Urbanis has it on the right wing. Tish Walker can't finish again at the basket.
Yeah, she's just rushing everything right now, Chad. She just got to take her time.
Penguins force the turnover. Newman knocks it ahead to Benjamin. Benjamin feeding it to Arbanis underneath Schlegel. Running the floor and laying it up and in.
Yeah, leave it up to Heidi Schlegel to get you an easy transition basket.
The pace is picked up in a big way. Nola Anderson answers right back.
And that's not good for Youngstown State because Oakland is a much faster-paced team on both ends of the floor.
33-30 is our score. Schlegel with the basketball. Outside to Newman. Over to Arbanis. Arbanis at the top of the key. To Schlegel. Here's Newman. Lob underneath Walker. Walker fights it up and in.
Good job there. Late in the shot clock, too. You know, really, that possession did not look good for the Penguins, but Tish Walker came to the rescue.
35-30, Youngstown State. Elena Popke feeds it out to the right side to Apsey. Apsey off the window. Nicely done over Newman.
That's a tough basket. One leg falling away, high off the window. It's a high degree of difficulty there by Apsey.
This is Newman. Over Arbanis, firing 3 ball, back of the rim, no good. Rebound, ripped down by Walker. Walker fights it up and in.
And she's huge, Chad. She's really become the X factor for the Penguins. I mean, when she can match what Heidi Schlegel's doing down there, or at least, you know, somewhat close, really a good 1-2 punch.
8 points for Tish Walker, and at the other end, the big time rejection. And Tish Walker getting it done at both ends.
She can do that as well.
And we have a whistle and a foul called against Oakland as a trio of new Penguins check in. Wright, Cash, and Hirsch. Watch Tish Walker gathering herself. Major league rejection on the defensive side. She heads to the Penguin bench.
Chad, there was a reason why her career started at Xavier.
Yep.
She's 6'2" and extremely long and athletic down inside.
Ball is in the hands of Jenna Hirsch. Hirsch over to Wright. Kelly Wright gives it to Cash. Cash lobbing for Schlegel. Schlegel up to Arbanis, and it is 3 seconds called against Youngstown State, and the Golden Grizzlies will have it when we come back. 15:55 left to play in the ball game. Penguins with a 5-point lead on my YTV. Fifteen minutes, 55 seconds to play here in the second half. Youngstown State 37, Oakland 32. Plenty of youngsters in the house today. Hoping to see the Penguins snap a 2-game losing streak and pick up Horizon League win number 4. Make that 5 on the campaign.
Yeah, really, if they can get back to 500, Chad, it would be so huge just for the psyche of their team. They've been struggling a little bit. They get back to 5-5, and they got 3 upcoming road games. It just sounds a lot different than 4-6.
Yep.
It's one game, but how much better does 5-5 sound than 4-6?
Sarah Cash picks up the personal.
It's like golf. How much better does 79 sound than 80, rather than 80?
I've never seen 80 or 79.
Well, maybe 90 and 89 then, right?
Not even close. Way worse.
That was the only sport I ever was really good at.
I've sworn it off now. 37-32, Leah Summerfield missed a pair. And the Penguins now will try to increase this 5-point lead. Ball in the hands of Wright underneath Schlegel. Schlegel fights it up and in.
She fought through a double team. The double team was there. Schlegel just beat it.
7-point Youngstown State lead. Elena Popke is defended there by Arbanis. Popke penetrating, whipping it over outside the 3-point line to Apsey. Here's Summerfield. Back to Apsey. Floater up and good. Offensive foul called. Wipe it off.
Another good floater off the bounce by Apsey. Offensive foul, though, wipes it away.
And Jeff Tungate is not happy. Interesting story about Coach Tungate. Of course, we mentioned he already previously coached on the men's side, but he also went to Oakland and he played on the baseball team where he was a preseason All-American back in 1992, and he continues to hold the school record for the longest hitting streak at 20 games, and so obviously a very gifted athlete. Loose ball on the floor and it's out of bounds and will go back to Oakland.
That's pretty remarkable when you think how much time he spent there at Oakland.
Yeah.
Both playing and coaching now.
Back to it, 7-point lead for Youngstown State. The right side, another offensive foul called against the Golden Grizzlies, and that time no argument whatsoever from Coach Tungate.
Yeah, Kelly Wright got in there. Job, set her feet, ready to take the hit.
John Barnes
Well, Chad, I'll tell you what, those are the types of things that'll get you more playing time. You're a freshman, you want to play?
He's got to love it, yep.
Do that. Take a charge once or twice, you'll play.
Kelly Wright swings it over to Hirsch. Hirsch back to Arbanis, now off the dribble, back to Hirsch in rhythm for three. She knocked it down!
Just enough dribble penetration drew the defense in, and Hirsch was left wide open for a three.
42-32, Youngstown State up by 10. Three ball from the other side, and Nola Anderson answers right back for the Golden Grizzlies.
As a freshman last season, Anderson came off the bench and had a pretty good ball game in this building. Now she's in the starting lineup, and her role is really expanded.
42-35 is our score. Hirsch up to the top of the key. Schlegel, who whips it over to Arbanis. Nikki Arbanis, the former Hickory Hornet, the local product. They swing it around to Hirsch with a shot clock down to 6. Hirsch to the right side, feeding it to right for three. She knocked it down!
Oh, that's just a huge three. She took a charge on one end, and a possession later hits a big three.
Kelly Wright knocking it down, but Popke goes glass to answer.
She's so tough. Just a great ball handler, a true point guard, and she could score a little bit too.
Over to Arbanis, who has it on the left wing outside the three-point line. She has 2 triples already. Morgan Olson out to Schlegel. Here's Wright. Schlegel to Arbanis. Arbanis back outside to Hirsch with 5 to shoot. Hirsch has her pocket picked. Here comes Elena Popke. Up the floor, no look pass, right side back to Popke, who whips it back up to Apsey. Thought about the three, step back triple, back of the rim, no good. And the rebound to Kelly Wright, who's been all over the floor tonight.
Yeah, good a rebound there, and really playing good on both ends, Chad. Saw some early minutes in that first half and showed good energy. Now she's back out there in the second.
Underneath Morgan Olson. Olson up and in, plus the foul.
Wow. Big time shot. That's another freshman. Kelly Wright, freshman. Morgan Olson, another one. Penguins have 7 freshmen on their roster. That's the most in the state of Ohio. Good footwork there.
Morgan Olson stepping to the line, trying to complete the and one. And she flips it up and rattles it in. She's shooting a team best 58.3% from the floor. And she showed great strength and balance there, completing the and one. And it's an 11-point Youngstown State lead.
How about that? The last 6 points come from 2 players that were deep on your bench to start the season.
That's why it's a marathon season, not a sprint. And we have Jenna Hirsch picking up the personal. It'll be her first and the second on Youngstown State as a team. 11:59 to play here in the ball game. Youngstown State up by 11 on my YTV. 11 minutes, 59 seconds left to play in the second half here at Bigley Center. And it is Youngstown State 48, Oakland 37. Chad Krispinski, Zach Humphreys with you. The Penguins have been playing very well on both sides of the ball. John Barnes has plenty to smile about. He was so disappointed with how things turned out on Saturday and that loss to UIC. Out of the timeout, Oakland has the basketball. It is Amy Carlton triggering, missing. And the ball is out of bounds as Corinne Taylor tracked it down, but her foot was on that baseline.
Yeah, Taylor hit that big three before the first half ended. Cut into that deficit.
Penguins trying to increase this 11-point lead. India Benjamin has it over to Hirsch. Hirsch out front to Schlegel. Here's Kelly Wright over to Benjamin. Benjamin, Schlegel, Hirsch with 6 to shoot. Penguins very, very patient, winding that shot clock down. Right, long three up, no good. Off the miss, rebound, Apsey up the floor into the corner. Carlton back to Apsey, step back three, it's up and it is no good, but there is a whistle and a Youngstown State foul. I do believe they just got Morgan Olson. That'll be her first. And the third Youngstown State team foul. Olson and Wright sit down. Arbanis and Walker come back in, along with Newman. Hirsch will head to the Penguin bench.
Yeah, Coach John Barnes has really played a lot of players here today. A lot of different lineups that we haven't seen yet this season.
Corinne Taylor outside Carlton, trying to get an open look. Down to 11 minutes left to play. Baseline cut. Menifee up off the back edge, no good. And the rebound to Youngstown State.
Yeah, somehow that thing popped out. Got all the way to the basket, did Menifee, just couldn't finish.
Benjamin over to Newman, and there's a reach-in foul called against Oakland's Amy Carlton. That'll be number 6 on the Golden Grizzlies as a team, number 2 on Carlton individually. Benjamin with the basketball, over to Newman, firing three, ball bang!
Well, Kelsey Newman is a dead-eye shooter, and she was given a lot of space that time. She was kind of quiet, aside from that bank shot she hit in the first half.
Timeout on the floor. The Penguins lighting it up here at Bigley Center. 10:32 left to play here in the game. It is Youngstown State 51, Oakland 37. Back to Bigley Center after this on my YTV. Youngstown State lights out here in the second half. Penguins get the triple from Kelsey Newman to increase the lead to 51-37. Chad Krasinski, Zach Humphreys back with you from Beagley Center. As John Barnes will send out Newman, Walker, Schlegel, Benjamin, and Nikki Arbanis onto the floor.
And Chad, we talked about the pace and how it has to be different here tonight for YSU. And you look up, 37 points for Oakland. They scored 85 in the first meeting. Much different here tonight.
Apsey over to Menifee. Apsey left of the lane is cut off. Apsey back to Zakia Menifee with 10 to shoot. Good defense, good energy by the Penguins. Taylor, bottom of the backboard, no good. Penguins very stingy on that defensive opportunity.
Now, interesting, India Benjamin yet to score for the Penguins, yet they're still doing pretty well here, up 14.
Penguins have plenty of scoring threats, including Newman and Schlegel, who has the ball now. Bounce pass underneath, picked off by Menifee. Menifee slowing things up. Over to the right side, into the hands of Apsey. Apsey to the basket, off the glass, shot blocked. Good block by Kelsey Newman as we're closing in on 9.5 to play here in the second half. 51-37 is our score. Benjamin reversing his tracks. Arbanis on the right wing, feeding it to Walker at the free throw line. Underneath Schlegel. Schlegel puts it up and in.
She's so good with that move, Chad. She starts on one block and finishes on the other. Always shoots it from a different angle, too. Able to get that one to go.
53-37. Corinne Taylor has it over to Popke. Popke, near side, left wing. Apsey for three. It's good.
Yeah, to think Apsey lost her starting job midway through the year last year. Now she's playing at an extremely high level.
The lead is 13 for Youngstown State. Down to 8:41 and counting. Arbanis has it to Schlegel. Here's Newman. Back to Benjamin on the left wing. Here's Arbanis firing three ball. She knocked it down to set the school record for triples by a freshman. What a start to the career for Nikki Arbanis.
Everybody's getting in the act now from the three-point line, Chad. Penguins are up over 50%. 8 of 15 from distance.
It does not get much better than that, and the former Hickory Hornet just continues to impress in her first year wearing a Penguin uniform. Corinne Taylor, the 5'4" freshman out of Akron, Ohio.
You know, what a great piece Arbanis has been to go along with Heidi Schlegel and Tish Walker inside. You know, because that's why she gets a ton of good looks. Because the Penguins offense is predicated on the post players. Penguins have two pretty good ones, so really opens it up for some shooters.
Corinne Taylor hits a couple of free throws, heads to the bench. She played her high school basketball at Canton McKinley. 56-42, Youngstown State. Across the time stripe into the forecourt. Arbanis, who at the moment has 11 points. Here's Hirsch looking for Schlegel, and it's knocked out of bounds. Arbanis. And we have a whistle and a foul as Newman hit the deck. And she's going to head to the free throw line. Sinclair Russell picks up her fourth. So that's going to give us an opportunity to see Kelsey Newman, the sophomore from Perrysburg, Ohio, step to the line. Now, she made her first career start against Detroit on the 28th, and she's now started 5 straight games. She's done very well.
Yeah, it's really fit in nice with, you know, inserting Kelsey Newman into that starting lineup. And then you have another ball handler with Jenna Hirsch coming off your bench. And, you know, Newman also brings a little bit more size to that starting lineup at the 3 spot, which is nice, too, for the Penguins.
She's now made multiple threes in 12 games this season. She blocked a shot earlier, too, as the Penguins are called for the foul. It's going to send Elena Popke to the free throw line. And it's the 5th Youngstown State team foul. And with that, we take timeout. 7:54 left to play in the ball game. Penguins up 57-42. And we'll bring you back to Big League Center after this on my YTV. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies have some work to do, trailing Youngstown State 57-42. Chad Krispinski, Zach Humphreys with you. Elena Popke to the free throw line. Coming into this one averaging 12.7 points. She's a 60% free throw shooter, and she misses the first, and we have a whistle. When an untied shoe out near the center of the floor. Nola Anderson. It's all things sorted out and fixed. Second free throw up and good for Popke.
And she's got 8 points. Penguins have done a great job on Popke, and more importantly, Olivia Nash, who's really a versatile big. I mean, she can go inside and out. She's 6 foot tall. She's their leading rebounder, also their leading scorer, and she's really been held in check here tonight.
Sarah Cash hit the deck. There's a whistle and a foul.
Speaking of Nash, she only has 2 points. Coming in, Olivia Nash was 4th best in the Horizon League with 8.7 rebounds and 9th best in the league in scoring, 14.5 per game.
Cash rattles it up and in. Coming in, she'd been the first Penguin off the bench in 14 games. She's now played in all 23 games. Free throw up, free throw too strong. And the ball is knocked out of bounds. And it'll belong to Oakland with 7:39 left. Cash sits down. Walker back in.
Yeah, with the emergence of Sarah Cash, so nice when you could take Tish Walker out, give her a blow. You really don't lose much now with Cash.
Yeah, the depth of the Penguins much, much better than we've seen. I think back 3-4 years ago, that depth was not there. Now, interchangeable parts for John Barnes to use in a rotation.
Olivia Nash just airballed that 3. She's just really been out of rhythm here tonight, and credit the Penguins defense.
Look at Urbanis, lightning quick. Outside to Hirsch. Hirsch to the top of the key, Schlegel. Now Newman left wing. Swing it around to Schlegel. Right wing firing, 3 ball, back of the rim, no good. Walker with the offensive rebound. Good effort by Tish Walker as that clock winds down towards 7 minutes left. Here's Newman looking for Walker in the low post instead. Topside Schlegel. Here's Hirsch with that shot clock underneath 15. Right of the lane, Walker backing in on Nash. Walker draws the foul. That'll be number 2 on Olivia Nash.
Yeah, she's got the advantage. Just took her time that time and able to draw the foul on Nash.
So Tish Walker puts the first free throw up, and it is good.
How about this stat? Tish Walker's the best free throw shooter in the Horizon League. You really don't see that coming from a center.
Youngstown State is the best free throw shooting team in the country. 78.5%. So the Penguins have taken advantage of their opportunities, and it's now a 60-43 ball game. Zach, you think back to some of the recent losses, 3 of them coming in into one final possession, and they're losing by that margin. Traveling call back to the Penguins. But Coach Barnes doesn't make any excuses. You know, you got to execute. And we saw UIC on Saturday really start to execute, ramp things up defensively. That disrupted some of the young Penguins, but it's good to see them bounce back. Schlegel has the basketball. Schlegel now works it back out front to Jenna Hirsch.
You know, Chad, we were talking about the parity, and I think, you know, looking at some of these games as Schlegel gets the layup, you know, there's a lot of teams that are very similar. You look at Oakland, Youngstown State, you know, UIC's another one of those teams, Cleveland State, you know, they're all pretty solid teams. That's why I think you see a lot of those records, you know, 4-5, 5-5, because it's just that tough night in, night out.
That's why it's so important to come back out, pick up a win here tonight, and hopefully the Penguins are well on their way to doing so. Nola Anderson picks it off, is cut off right of the lane. They work it to Russell. Russell scoops it up and in with the left hand. Nicely done.
Yeah, Sinclair Russell's been a nice piece. As Kelsey Newman's wide open.
An easy look for Newman, who laid it up and in.
It looked like playground basketball, a little cherry pick in there.
Sometimes you can be too wide open, and she took her good old time making sure she laid it off the window, nice and easy. 64-47, shot off the mark. Schlegel with another rebound for Youngstown State. Across the time stripe into the forecourt. Kelsey Newman has her pocket picked, gobbles it back up, and John Barnes will call a timeout with 5:14 left to play here in this second half. Youngstown State 64, Oakland 47. And the Penguins trying to get to the 500 mark in Horizon League play and improve on the season to 16-7. Keep in mind, Youngstown State has matched its win total from all of last season with at least 8 games remaining on the slate. Penguins won at least 15 for the 3rd straight season after, I think back to a few years ago, winning 14 or fewer in each of the previous 12 campaigns. So hats off to John Barnes and this Penguins team, which has continued to grow and develop and play very good basketball. But Zach, you and I were talking about the importance of these games as the Horizon League standings are impacted. And look at that lump right in the middle. Penguins are right there, but there is plenty of basketball still to be played, and the Penguins can make their move up those Horizon League standings as this season progresses.
Yeah, another one going on tonight that could have some implications. Detroit and UIC going at it.
Yep.
So, you know, another 2 teams right there. You know, a couple wins, find themselves in the top 4, top half of the conference.
Heidi Schlegel cuts to the rack and lays it in.
That's an easy one there for Schlegel. Easiest look tonight.
Schlegel with 18 points. 66-47. Penguins have now pulled away of the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Far side corner, cross-court toss into the hands of Nola Anderson. Ball not free. Good defense again by Heidi Schlegel, who brings max effort, 40 minutes each and every time to the floor.
You know, Chad, one thing that's really improved from the first half to the second half is Penguins getting back in transition. Now, a lot of that has to do with making shots, because when you make shots, the other team can't run. But still,
Schlegel with 20 points as she continues to dominate down low. Anderson up and in, plus the foul.
Yeah, right there is what Oakland wants to do all the time. It hasn't been like that here in the second half.
Credit the Penguin defense for that. Jenna Hirsch picks up number 2. Popke is back in. Taylor sits down. Anderson out of Chesapeake, Virginia, just a sophomore. Will step to the free throw line. At the moment, she has 12 points. She'll go for lucky number 13. Anderson, ready, aim, fire, good. (68-50). It does not appear that this one is going to come down to the wire, as did Saturday's overtime loss to UIC. Here's India Benjamin. The right wing as we wind down, near 4 minutes left to play. Sarah Cash fights it up and in.
Good pass by Benjamin. Now, Benjamin hasn't scored a ton tonight, but she's getting her teammates involved.
Lob underneath, gobbled up by Summerfield. Skip pass to the wing. Apsey off the dribble with the right hand, knocks it in.
She's so good off the bounce with those off-balance shots. Makes them look easy.
Timeout has been taken with 3:43 left to play here in the ball game. Nicely done by Peyton Apsey. She knocks it in, but it may be too little too late. Penguins up 70-52. Timeout on the floor. Back after this on My YTV. That smile is getting bigger and bigger on Penny's beak. The Penguins starting to pull away. 70-52. She's all bundled up. It's going to get cold out there tonight. But that cold feels a lot warmer with a victory, that's for sure. And the Penguins seem to be on their way to picking up win number 16. Sarah Cash knifing through and fighting it up and in.
Oh, she's really played good here tonight, Chad. Off the bench again for the Penguins.
Cash at the defensive side, coming up with a steal, and she is fouled. Peyton Apsey getting a little bit flustered. The officials may want to see that. There was a little extra there.
Yeah, it definitely was some extracurricular activities here.
There it is. They want to see at the end if there was an elbow, perhaps.
Well, she was going for the ball. A little aggressive, but
so the officials are going to want to see exactly what they just showed.
Yeah, you see it all the time, Chad, those frustration fouls. Apsey was the one who threw it away and knew she made a mistake.
You see what happened at the tail end of this. We're going to talk about it now.
I'm not so sure you can really call anything more just because she was going for the ball.
Yep. So Sarah Cash is going to go to the free throw line, 72-52. Youngstown State with 3:20 left.
Cash has been really productive off the bench.
Cash, another one of those local products out of Lordstown.
Cash has 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists.
Sarah Cash trying to split the pair. And she misses. Ball is knocked out of bounds off the fingertips of Schlegel. It's outside the three-point line. They lob it underneath low post for Anderson, who flips it up. It won't go, and the rebound comes down to Youngstown State. Benjamin, as we hit the 3-minute mark, brings it across the time stripe. Up to Arbanis. Arbanis over to Hirsch, looking low post. Instead, out front to Schlegel. Benjamin, now Arbanis. Shot clock down to 11. Schlegel with the ball in her hands, over to Benjamin. Benjamin back around left side. Benjamin fights it up and in.
She just has a knack. The end of the shot clock, India Benjamin has another gear. That time she used it all the way to the basket.
Anderson. Pinball basketball. Russell controls and scores.
She's in there replacing Kim B. Really the only new face in that starting lineup. She's done a pretty good job. She's got to stay out of foul trouble, though. Both meetings she's been in foul trouble against the Penguins.
Shot clock down to 17. Schlegel has it. Schlegel, one dribble, gives to Benjamin. Now to Hirsch. Ball is knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Penguins with an even 2 minutes remaining. Lob in towards Tish Walker. Ball still poked out of bounds. This time it will belong to Oakland.
Well, Penguins well on their way here. This is a really good performance, and I think specifically, Chad, they got back to their identity. You know, that defense. I mean, that's really what they've hung their hat on all season. You look at Oakland, one of the best scoring teams in the league. They're stuck on 54 right now. That's a really good effort on the defensive end if you're Youngstown State.
Nash with 10 to shoot. They have it in the corner. Air ball grazed the net. Rebound to Hirsch. Penguins will push it up the floor, but then I would imagine pull it back out. We're now under 90 seconds left. It's over to Schlegel and Benjamin.
You know, the other thing that's nice, everybody kind of had a hand in it tonight.
Yep.
Kelly Wright came in, played some good minutes. Morgan Olson, you know, and then all of the normal suspects with Heidi Schlegel, Tish Walker and company, and Arbanis.
Penguins have 4 players in double figures, led by Schlegel with 20. 3 ball off the iron, no good. And the rebound to Schlegel. We're inside a final minute. And now we'll have a timeout called just for substitution purposes. And I think both teams are going to clear the bench. John Barnes pulls out those usual suspects. Oakland's going to go to the bench as well. We'll get our first look at Lindsay Orwatt, among others. Hannah Orwatt, 2 twins playing.
Leah Summerfield into the Grizzlies.
So the basketball will belong to the Penguins, as Kelly Wright now will control things. Across the time stripe, and Zach, a quality win. You make amends for a tough loss, not only Saturday, but an earlier season loss to Oakland up in Michigan. This is Olsen into the paint, fights it up and in.
How about that off-balance shot, hanging and hitting. That was a tough shot.
76-54. Ball in the hands of Hannah Orwatt. Back out front to the Canton McKinley product. Corinne Taylor. shot up, no good, and the Penguins will be able to just dribble this thing out. Lawson tracks it down. And YSU will dribble it out and post a 76-54 victory over the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Youngstown State now improves to 16-7 overall, 5-5 in Horizon League play. Meanwhile, Oakland drops to 3 games under the 500 mark overall at 10-13, and now 4-6 in league play. When we come back, we'll wrap it up from Beagley Center. Youngstown State 76, Oakland 54. And back after this on my YTV.